Well, as I think I've mentioned before on all of these channels and things that I've got, the real reason for playing all of these video games and like showing it to you guys and stuff is actually to sort of gather up some B-roll and to play some of these games and be familiar with them, because it helps out with making future videos talking about some of this stuff. Plus, there's also some games that people keep requesting over and over again, so we're going to have a little bit of that here today as we look at Lakers versus Celtics in the NBA playoffs on the Sega Genesis. Now, first thing that I need to do again is we need to load this controller file. Hopefully it will work this time. As you may or may not have noticed, it doesn't always work when I do this, so we're going to try it this time and see. Oh, look at that. It actually works. We probably don't want the period for 12 minutes. 5 minutes I think is probably plenty. And we'll just do, preseason play level, and we'll just sort of like figure this out as we go. So this is not the first time I've played this game. I played once, I think, before, but I don't care who we play against. Oh yeah, no, we want to do that. There we go. I played this game, I think, once before, but I wasn't particularly good at it, right? Like, so I'm still trying to learn sort of the controls and like what the speed is like and stuff like that. What was the year again on this? This is 1990. So to put this in perspective, this would have been like, what? This would have been like right around the time that Madden first came out on the Genesis. This is right before the first NHL series came out on the Genesis. So that gives you kind of an idea. We're just going to go ahead and go into it. Press start again to begin. So I had to push start like 20 times. And how do I tell which guy I'm even controlling? I'm not sure. So as you can see, the animation in this game is really, really good. The playability of this game, however, is a little bit questionable. And I mean, the animation was good until that happened, right? How am I supposed to stop that from happening? Now, how I can, like, figure out which guy I want to pass it to is kind of questionable. That was an amazing dunk, though, so we got something good to happen here. So the C button here is the one that kind of pushes or does other stuff, is Robert Parrish. I'm not sure where the rebounding button is, but Larry Bird just sort of dunked that all over us. There we go. So now we get a little bit more into it. That was MJ. So with all this emphasis, though, on like, the animations and stuff in this game, you kind of wonder, if they were thinking at all about like play control and playability. Now, in terms of like, okay, that was amazing. I just pushed A was all, and Jordan did that incredible move. So I know that in this game there are a bunch of different like special moves you can do with each of the guys. So we'll see if we can, we'll look out for that and see if we run into any of those. Foul on Jordan. I wasn't even close to him. Okay, did you see the foul? I didn't see that foul anywhere. So whatever. I mean, the refs are probably crooked. I think that's what's going on. Anyway, so it's kind of similar to Tecmo, except it's definitely slower. The first time that I played this game a little bit, like slightly, that was the thing that really perturbed me about it. I thought this game was kind of slow and a little bit sluggish, which is actually kind of par for the course for EA games from right around this time. So if you play like the first Madden game, for example, it's kind of annoying because you have to sit there and wait for the stupid like players to figure out like who's going to be on the field and stuff like that. So it's kind of annoying. It's not like a really, really bad game or anything like that. It's just that it's not much fun to sit there and like, what play you want to call, but you have to wait because, you have to get your right personnel on the field and stuff like that. Anyway, this is a little bit better than that. And like I said, I do like the animations in this game. I think it's kind of a good idea, but I also think that this was a little bit ambitious for the Sega Genesis. And like, I think the copyright date on this game is 1990. But since this is Lakers versus Celtics, it's obviously something that's a little bit earlier than that. I think that the original game actually was out in probably like 1987, 1988, something like that. So Okay, so like I don't even touch a button. If I just if I get behind my guy, I love how the coach is jumping on the bench once he makes a free throw. If I like go behind the guy at all and just touch him, sometimes it'll call me for the foul. Anyway, it's pretty cool to be able to dunk with Jordan like that. That's pretty nice. And overall, I think the idea behind this game is not bad. I wouldn't look at this game and say like, oh, this is such an awful game, one of the worst games of all time or anything like that. Comparatively speaking, though, I don't think that this game is quite as good as some of the other basketball games that were on the console at the same time. Oh, that was amazing, man. How did he get that kind of jump? And who is this? You're gonna have to remind me who this is. I've been doing a really bad job of watching my vintage NBA. That's Mikhail. Oh, here we go. Big man once again. That's one thing I like about Tecmo is that it at least tells you at the bottom, you know, who your guy is, and it has, you know, the symbol at the top to let you know who you're controlling defensively. I don't know who I'm controlling, and I only find out when he's called for a foul. Anyway, the other thing I'm going to say is that it's a really nice thing that we didn't have this on 12 minutes. Could you imagine 12 minutes per period of us doing this? And it's not like, you know, the score is unrealistic or anything like that. I mean, 5 minutes is plenty. Anyway, I think that the biggest concern with this game, and it's ironic because it's a Sega Genesis game, but it's the speed. I really think that's like the biggest problem that you see with this game. It's just slow, and it doesn't really need to be that slow. The thing that's slowing it down is all of this animation, and the fact that, what are they doing? Oh, it must be the end of the period. Yeah, there we go. That was Cartwright, right? So Pippen's 33, Cartwright's 24. Horace Grant, 54. I think he was the one who had that dunk. That kind of sucks that they don't show me my stats. Now, in terms of being like an accurate depiction of basketball, that's definitely not this game. I mean, I don't remember watching a lot of 1980s games where guys are like walking and, you know, stuff like that. Larry Bird is like running in place or something like that. It's kind of a weird type thing. But again, it's all right. You know, you're not going to see something that's like necessarily super realistic. And then in terms of like ease of play of this game and stuff like that, so there goes Pippen. Like, what I'll tell you is that, again, I've never played this game before. I was able to, or I guess I may have played it like once just to try it and see. But I mean, I was able to figure the controls out here pretty easily. It's not that hard to figure out how this game is played, which is pretty nice. A little turnaround hook shot by, who is that, Cartwright, which is probably not his best shot. Anyway, this has really that feel of like kind of crappy DOS game. Whoops. You're not supposed to pick up your dribble and then dribble again. Scottie Pippen should know that, but he was kind of young right back in these days, so maybe he didn't know fully. Oh yeah, good job, man. I'm glad that you went up for the shot like after the ball was taken away from you. Yeah, how you like that, huh? Nice dunk there by Jordan. Thing about like games like this, it's kind of hard for me to believe today, but like, you know, you had this game on the Genesis back in like 1990. This was like your basketball game. So if you wanted to do like a basketball project or whatever, you were playing this all day, right? I mean, can you imagine that though? Like, again, it's kind of hard for me to like describe just sort of like what the feeling is when you play this, but it's kind of like sticky. It's like, it doesn't feel like this is, you know, like, this doesn't feel like a really high polished, like extremely well done game, right? I mean, again, like Tecmo, I know it's a couple years older, but Tecmo NBA Basketball on the Genesis is a much better game than this in terms of like, you know, the animation, the smoothness, the speed and stuff like that. This game just feels like it's stuck in like, I don't know, it's like a car that's stuck in first gear, right? You feel like you just can't get anything going, and One nice thing though, somebody on one of my other channels was saying this about the Super Nintendo or the Genesis compared to the Super Nintendo. The Genesis, you have that great bass sound in the music, so that's pretty good. This music is definitely quite good. But yeah, if you want to think about like how long the Sega Genesis was like the system, right? This game came out on the Genesis as one of the first games, and then you go all the way up to you remember the NBA Hang Time game that we played a while ago. I guess actually I didn't play that as like a whatever you call this type of video, like a gameplay video or whatever on this channel. I just did a video on it. But NBA Hang Time on the Genesis is like one of the last games of the Genesis. You compare that to this, it feels like it's a completely different world of gaming. I mean, this has got that kind of like really kind of crappy, you know, early DOS feel to it. And NBA Hang Time on the Genesis feels pretty close to the arcade game in terms of like playability and stuff like that. It's not the perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. It's not as good certainly as the N64 version. But as far as a, you know, sort of a basic version of that's concerned, it's a really, really good game. Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything to stop him when he gets it like that. Here we go. We're hanging in there with him. I mean, this is definitely a lot more playable than a lot of other basketball games I've played on this system. And this is definitely a lot better than like Ultimate Basketball and stuff like that. That's the thing with this channel. I've got to, we've spent so much time playing, you know, NBA Jam and stuff like that. Oh, that was the end of the half. Oh, I guess I wasn't paying attention. But the thing about this channel is we've got to go back and start playing some of like the really, really bad games too. All right, so as usual, I love this. Isaiah Thomas has been slicing and dicing the opposition tonight. Oh, nice. Okay, we're gonna watch a couple highlights. So this is really well done. Wow, look at that. Wow. Hey, that's pretty cool for 1990. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do a jump ball again. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I think I'm supposed to push A at some point in time. Amazing how he does that move, right? He like jumps just like straight past the guy, like he's not even there. There's Scotty. On my way, bro. There we go. Come on, Cartwright. What kind of foul is that? I picked the right guy to foul, though. Anyway, playing through all of this just makes me think about all of the projects I still need to work on. If you're not on it, you guys, if you're interested, you can check out my Patreon page. I have a whole bunch of like videos and audio and stuff of sports games on there. I need to get it updated though. So like on my computer, I have a very, very large collection of old. I knew that was going to happen eventually. I have a large collection of you know, old NBA games, including a ton of Jordan games that I've got from a variety of sources. And I need to upload those, so that's going to come here eventually, but it's going to take me a little while. I need to sort through them and figure out what I've got and stuff. There's some pretty nice quality old vintage NBA stuff out there, actually. There's a guy that I know who is kind of like my source for a lot of that stuff. But a lot of people don't realize the extent of the stuff that's out there, so there's some stuff on YouTube that you can find. But the stuff on YouTube is not the like entirety of all of the stuff that's actually available on like from traders and stuff like that. Man, look at Larry Bird! Wow, what a dunk! Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff like that out there. NBA, relative to other sports, the NBA tends to be a little bit nicer about allowing people to like use some of its video and stuff like that. The interestingly enough, the sport that is hardest is if you're dealing with college football. That's where I keep running into problems on my football channel. Like, you know, it's like if it's a college football game and it was on any major network, chances are really good that like the majority of the game is going to wind up. How did Larry Bird make a shot from behind the backboard? Can someone explain that to me? Anyway, like if you have a college football game that was on any major network at any time, chances are that XOR Digital Sports is going to like claim like anything from the game that's even remotely interesting. Yeah, I probably deserve that, huh? And anyway, like, you know, as a result of that, like when you play, or I mean, I understand that to like an extent, right? Like you don't necessarily want to have people like making money just taking full old broadcasts and like re-showing them on YouTube and monetizing it. Like I understand it, right? Although I will note that YouTube has rules about reused content that is designed to prevent that from happening, right? So like you really aren't allowed to just like take a whole bunch of stuff that's not yours and try to pass it off as yours and like try to put that up and stuff. Oh, before the shot, huh? Okay, but he gets to shoot anyway. I'm never gonna get tired of seeing that coach jump up and down when a guy makes a free throw. That's hilarious. All right, there you go. Anyway, for me, when it comes to like, you know, using like old sports content and stuff, for me, the biggest value comes in talking about and doing like, you know, stuff that's connected with either the history of the sport. How is that a foul on me? I'm not even close to him. Ridiculous call, man. Come on, ref. Anyway, it is mostly interesting to me when it comes to like talking about like the history of the sport and stuff like that. That's where stuff becomes really interesting, and especially if it's connected with like different sports sims and stuff like that. I know I haven't talked a whole bunch about sports sims on this channel, but we're gonna start doing that here eventually. Wow, man, 2 dunks missed in a row. I've talked a little bit about it, right? You might have seen I have like videos on like Stratomatic, you know, basketball and stuff like that. The plan here coming up soon, I've been trying to find the time to do this, and it's probably not going to happen today, but I want to do start doing a project with the old Hoops, I say the old game, it's actually the new Hoops basketball sim game. Oh man, that was a beautiful, beautiful spin dunk by Jordan that ended up missing. Hey, come on, Larry. Larry Bird went away, he's a little bit scared. But that's what we're going to do pretty soon. So I've got the Hoops game, the computerized version, and I have the 1986-87 season. And I've got like, seriously, I have like a bunch of stuff like prepared for this. I've got like the Street and Smiths magazine for 86-87 and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm intending to like really get into this and, you know, make a big thing. And the idea is, so Hoops is a tabletop. It's like a card and dice game. So it's not quite like, you know, playing this or playing Tecmo or whatever. It's not necessarily such a visual thing, but I'm going to try to figure out some ways to like augment it so that it's a little bit more interesting. So you can see that pretty soon. We're going to have that coming up here probably sometime in the next like week or two. I do have, so the first game is going to be the Celtics at Bullets game, back when they were still called the Bullets. And so the plan is to, I want to like at least watch some of that game before we start this project, and try to grab like some highlights or something and use that at the beginning to like, yeah. That was on me again. Man, how many fouls does Paxton have? I wish it would tell me. Anyway, but the idea is that I'll do like a little, you know, sort of like review of what happened in the game in real life, like up at the start, and stuff like that. Anyway. That's a completely different feel, of course, than playing a game like this or playing like NBA Jam or whatever. You know, the whole idea behind that is it's more like an actual sort of like simulation idea. Hoops is a pretty cool simulation of the sport. There are some things about the simulation that I don't like, but I do want to like give it a little bit more time and, you know, give it a little bit of energy and sort of see what it's like. It's definitely a different type of game, and it can, you know, appeal to a different kind of audience. One of the reasons why I'm a little bit hesitant, at least at first, of like doing that type of content is because I know that there's not a huge market out there for it. But at the same time, I think that there actually likely would be a market if we can get you know, into sort of the feeling of what it's like to simulate this stuff. That's where it becomes kind of fun, you know, when you're like really digging in, you're doing some research into the history and stuff like that. Nice. Like, so I was watching, for example, somebody on some channel who was doing a version of, like, I guess you would call it a replay. It was using, like, having Tecmo basketball on the NES. He's got it fouled out, right? They were playing Tecmo basketball on the NES. It looked like it was two computer opponents playing against each other, and it was talking about, like, oh, we're doing a replay of, like, the 1991, whatever season it was, 90-91 or 91-92, I can't remember. Probably 91-92. But the problem with that is that there's, like, no commentary. The guy just showed, like, gameplay. That was it, you know, and it wasn't even the guy playing it. It was the computer playing against the computer and stuff like that. So kind of the idea that I have is, you know, well, let's do something a little different. Let's do something that, you know, is maybe a little bit more engaging and a little bit more interesting to people. So anyway, that's the whole concept behind this. The next video, the next long-form video on this channel, though, is going to be about basketball cards. We're going to start looking at 1989-90 cards, so, you know, hoops and stuff like that. I've already got that filmed. I've got the script and everything all written, and I have all the photos and stuff chosen. I just have to put it together. I got that filmed actually earlier today, and nobody's even going to get close to Cartwright. I love it. I love it, baby. So this game's actually easier than I thought it was. Maybe I have to increase the difficulty. He's got to foul out, right? Man, what's up with you, Paxton? Every time I turn around, you're fouling. Man, what's your problem? Dude, just don't foul. Like, seriously, are you stupid or what? Anyway, so, yeah, so look forward to the next video on basketball cards. I guess that was off the backboard. That was a really awkward animation. Hopefully it'll be interesting to some. I know that not a lot of people do content on sports card history like I'm doing, but look for more of that coming soon. I did a video earlier on this channel talking about the Jordan rookie card and which one was the correct one, I guess. And that one has had very, very little traction, which probably makes you wonder why in the world I would do another thing on basketball cards. But actually, I do think that there is a lot of potential there. Like I said, you know, not a whole lot of people talk about, like, the history of these cards. Most people, when they talk about it, are just doing, like, pack openings and stuff. And I mean, it's okay. Oh, come on, he's not going to take a hook shot from three-point territory, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. What kind of shot was that? You ever see a guy do a hook shot for three? That's totally crazy. Hey, come on, Pippen. Jeez, man, why are you playing so aggressively? Well, then again, if I dunked like that, I would take a three-point shot from hook shot from three-point territory too, right? I'd be embarrassed. You're like, oh yeah, no, I'll go ahead and do that, right? Since I can't dunk it. Here's your three-pointer. Take that, Robert Parrish. Oh man, he made it. How about that? How you like them apples, huh? We win the game. 90-84. All right, I want to see what else we have going on here with this game. Sort of real quick. That was it. So it's just a single game. Oh, you can do a tournament too. Okay, gotcha. But you have to do it at Showtime level. All right, so maybe later on we try that. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so there you have it. That's Lakers versus Celtics on the Genesis. I know that there's a Mega Drive, or I'm sorry, a Master System version of that game. Maybe we'll check that out, and some of the others as well. If you have memories of this, let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's enjoy the good times. I think dinner's coming up soon. Talk to you guys later.